All right, first number, you could do two different ways. You could do a proportion. Remember, it's is over of equals percent over 100. So when you do that, the 100 always goes there. The percent is always there. It's given to us. And there's the is number. So, what's nice about solving this is you don't have to move any decimals. You just cross multiply and divide by the 30. You don't have to make it 0.30. And you get 50. Now, if you forget the is over of equals percent over 100, you could just write an equation. 30% is 0.30. Of means times. We don't know what the number is, so we call it x. Is means equals 15. So then you just solve this equation, divide by 0.30, and you would get the same answer. All right, number 2. It says take 75% off the original price when you take an additional 15% off the sales price, which is 60% off the original price. Is the store sign accurate? So a lot of percentages in there. So what they're saying is they're having 60% off the original price. That's the first thing you look for. So just make up any number you want, which $100 would be the easiest to do. If something is $100 original price, and they take 60% off, 60% of 100 is $60. Now that's taken off, which means you would pay $40. Okay? Now, they're saying 75% off the original price is an additional 15% off the sales price. Well, this is the sales price, if you take that off. So, if we take an additional 15% off of the sales price, that means we take that times 15%, which is 0.15. So 40 times 0.15 is $6. That's an additional taken off. So you take off another $6 means it sells for $34. Now, this is not correct because they're saying it's just like taking 75% off. If you did that right away, if something was $100 and you take off 75%, 75% of 100 is $75 off. So $100 take 75 off, you would pay $25 if they did that. So when it says is the store sign accurate? No, it's not. And the way to explain it is just by showing your work. All right, simple interest. Interest equals principal times rate times time. PRT. Principal is the amount of money you start with. Interest is the additional. R is the rate. T is the time in years. So you put $1,200 into an account. That's your principal. That earns 3%. Now you got to remember to make it a decimal, 0.03, times the years, 4 years. That will give you the interest. So you just multiply that out. You get $144. Oh, they didn't ask for the interest. They asked for the total amount in the account. So you started with $1,200, you made $144, so you got to add those two together. So it'd be $1,344 total in the account. Okay, classifying angles as complementary. Complementary adds up to 90. Supplementary adds up to 180. Neither is anything else. 23 plus 67 is 90, so that's complementary. 144 plus 46 is 190. It's not 180, so it's neither. Classifying triangles. You're going to have two answers. Remember, it can be acute, all angles less than 90. Obtuse, one angle's greater than 90. Or right, one angle is 90. It can be scalene, where all the sides are different. It can be isosceles, where two sides are the same. And it can be equilateral, where all sides are the same. So, this has got a 90, so it's a right. All the angles are different, which means all the sides are different. So it's a right scalene. Here, one of the angles is greater than 90, so it's obtuse. And again, since all the angles are different, it's obtuse scalene. Any four-sided figure, the angles always add up to 360. So, you just take 360 and subtract off those, and you would end up with 70 degrees. Do the same thing here. 360, subtract 108, 120, 167. And you get 65. The scale drawing has a scale of 3 inches to 1 feet. What's the scale factor? Well, this is a scale. It's just not a factor because it doesn't have the same label. So you would write 3 inches, and you can write it as a fraction or with the colon. Just change this into inches. So it's 3 to 12. It doesn't say to reduce it, but you could. 3 to 12 would reduce to 1/4. You could write it either way. All right, here we got to use the formula sheet. Find the circumference and area. So two answers. Circumference is pi times diameter. Area is pi times the radius squared. It says to use 22/7 for pi. So circumference is pi, 22/7 times the diameter, which it's given to us is 14. So remember, you just go 22 divided by 7 times 14. But the reason why they choose this instead of 3.14 is 14 over 7 is 2. 22 times 2 is 44 inches. Make sure you label it correctly. Circumference is just the length around, so it's just the inches. Area is pi times the radius. If the diameter is 14, the radius is 7. 7 squared. And you get 154. And remember, anytime you find area, it's the unit squared. Here we got to find the area of the whole thing, so you just find each area and then add them together. This rectangle box is length times width, 18 meters squared. A triangle is base times height divided by 2. So 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2 is 6 meters squared. And here we got a half a circle. Area is pi times the radius. The radius of this circle would be 3 squared, but then you only have half a circle, so you divide that by 2. And it's 14.13. So, add them all up to find the total area. And it's 38.13 meters squared. Another one, you gotta find both answers, volume and surface area. Surface area is probably the hardest because you find all sides added together. So it's easy to do, it's just easy to lose track of what you've done. The bottom is a 3 by 4, so that's 12, but there's 2 of them, top and bottom, so take that times 2. Plus, this side is 4 by 6, 24, but again, there's 2 of them, so take it times 2. And then the one I got left is the front, is a 3 by 6, because that's 6, so this is 6. 3 by 6 is 18, and there's 2 of them. So this is surface area. So that's 108 centimeters squared. Again, area is the unit squared. Now the formula for volume is capital BH. B is the area of the base. So the area of this base, it's a rectangle, it's just 3 times 4. So the volume is 3 times 4 is the B, times the height is 6. Remember, a box is just length times width times height. And you get 72. Now volume is space inside, so it's 3-dimensional, so that's centimeters cubed. Surface area of a cylinder. So this formula on your formula sheet, surface area is, there's 2 circles, so there's 2 pi r squareds plus the side, if you unfolded it, it's a rectangle, so that's pi times diameter times the height. Let's see if that's what they say on your formula sheets. No. So this is how they write it on your formula sheet. pH plus 2B. Well, B is the area of the base, which is pi r squared, and then there's the 2. So these 2 are the equal part. So the perimeter in this case, P stands for perimeter. Perimeter of a circle is called the circumference. So that's why they put pi times diameter, and then times the height. So I'll maybe just put that one up on the board so you can decipher that. So we've got to take 2 times pi times the radius squared plus pi times the diameter, which is 4, times the height of the cylinder is 4. And you get 75.36, and again, it is an area, so it's inches squared. Okay, last one. Theoretical probability is 1/10. There are 22 students in your grade that try out. How many students are in your grade? So 22 is the part. So what they're saying is 1/10 of all the students. Of means times. We don't know how many students there are, so you call it X. Turned out to be 22 kids. 1/10 of the students tried out, and that number was 22. So remember, to get to X by itself, if it's a fraction times the letter, take it times the reciprocal. Times 10, and you get 220.